It is my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest, Mr. Sean, who is the Territory Sales Manager responsible for the vibrant territories in Kerala and Coimbatore, which has 3 test centers, 2 in Kerala and 1 in Coimbatore. And Mr. Sean brings a very positive energy, and the experience of yours will make us so much proud. So welcome, Mr. Sean. Thank you so much. Sir, how does the PTE exam adapt the test takers of different language abilities? Are there different difficulty levels or versions of the examination?
Okay, to answer your question in the order you asked, so basically PTE has its content that is introduced to assess students or test takers of different levels of the language ability, starting from the beginner user to moderate user to a mid-level and also to an expert user. And talking about the difficulty level, that totally depends on the practice that the student has. If the student practice for a good for a couple of days, and a student who practices for a couple of months, both the category of students would have a different experience in the exam. So the ones who have practiced for over a couple of months would have more grasp more grasp over the language, and would be more confident to attend the exam.
So the next question is, are there any specific preparation techniques or resources that a student can use for their PTE examination?
Okay, so there are a lot of printed materials that are available at PSN website, like the official guide to PTE, how to score 79. But besides these materials, we also are having our AI-based practice test, which is having a very authentic AI algorithm that is which is followed at the actual PTE exam, PTE test. And besides this, there are also a lot of resources available at our website, like we are having an app called official PTE practice app. So these are the applications, or these are the extra resources which the students can also use in order to get in order to focus more on the practicing of the question.
Over to the next question. Can you provide some insight into the speaking session? Describe image task. What should candidates focus on while they are answering such questions?
So basically, I really strongly suggest the students to focus on being fluent, being loud and being clear. And also they would have to focus on using the minute details. For example, all the details that are available at a particular visual image, like the color, shape or size, and also the statistics. So talking about this, the students normally only face a challenge when they are not very familiar with with having the ability to focus on minute details. So for that, having a more practice or having a lot of practice questions for such question type will really go a long way, and they would be able to get a good score, and they would be able to develop their intellectuality as well as the vocabulary.
Sir, so there is a frequently asked suggestion from the students which is about the additional tips and tricks that you would suggest during this PTE examination. Would you mind suggesting some of them?
Great. So I strongly suggest the students to read a lot of newspapers and articles, resulting in which they would have a good practice over their reading skill, developing more vocabulary, which would also help them in the next module, that is the writing skill also. And talking about speaking, while reading the newspapers and articles, I would really strongly suggest for them to read it out loud, so that would help them focus on their pronunciation and also their speaking skill. Coming to the listening part, I would say maybe listening to a lot of podcasts, listening to a lot of TED Talks, talk shows on a global scale would really help them to grasp the power to understand and to acknowledge the accent of the which are available at the global scale. And also, of course, they would get to learn a lot of more words, a lot of vocabulary they would get to learn more there. Then coming to the writing part, I strongly suggest if they could rewrite high quality essays. That would really help them to understand the structure, to understand the use of the vocabulary in certain sentences, and that would really go a very long way.
Sir, over to our last question. Can you share some of the success stories or examples of the candidates who have performed PTE successfully using this tips and tricks that you have just provided right now?
So to be honest, there have been a lot of students who have come up to me asking for my tips and tricks. But of course, like I said, there are no tips or tricks as such. It is all just a matter of practice and the right guidance. And of course, by following the methods which I've just mentioned it to you, There are a lot of students, touchwood. They are all settled and they are all in other countries in their own destinations and living life happily. God bless them.
Thank you so much for your valuable time spent with us. This was such a fruitful session indeed. Thank you so much, sir.